Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? My name is TJ Jones, and welcome to the State of the Saints podcast, where we focus on the New Orleans Saints. Well, the Saints have been busy trying to get it done before the trade deadline, and the Saints have made a trade with the New York Giants to bring cornerback Eli Apple to the Crescent City. Now, I know a lot of people in New York, when they heard that Eli got traded, I know a lot of people started smiling, but their smile turned to a frown when they found out it was Apple instead of Manning. Okay. All right now. I know a lot of people heard that joke. I know everybody heard the joke since the trade happened, so I thought I might say it too. We got that out of the way. Now let's focus on Eli Apple. I think it's a great pickup for the New Orleans Saints. It wasn't a secret that the New Orleans Saints needed a cornerback to go on the other side of Marshawn Lattimore. Marshawn Lattimore, he started off slow at the beginning of the season. He's starting to pick up steam, and he's going back to rookie year Marshawn Lattimore. And Kent Crawley, who is still struggling. I mean, he playing a little bit better. I give him credit. You know, Kent Crawley, he ain't getting smoked. He ain't getting toast down the field like he did at the beginning of the season. But do you really trust Kent Crawley in crucial situations? Not me. And neither do the New Orleans Saints. And that is the reason why, in my opinion, they picked up Eli Apple. Eli Apple, he was a New York Giant. He was drafted by him. He was picked 10th overall in the 2016 NFL draft. He came out of Ohio State, which is amazing to me. Now the Saints have 4 starters in their secondary that came out of Ohio State: Marshawn Lattimore, Von Bell, Coleman, and now they have Eli Apple. So they got 4 guys in the secondary that came out of Ohio State. To say that the Saints love Buckeyes is an understatement. But, I mean, he's okay cornerback for those that don't know. I mean, he has 123 tackles. He has 20 pass deflections, 1 interception, and 2 forced fumbles. His rookie season, he played mostly in the slot. Okay, he didn't play on the outside. And Prince Amukamara and Janoris Jackrabbit Jenkins were the 2 outside corners. And, of course, Prince Amukamara, he ended up leaving the New York Giants, and that made room for Eli Apple. Now, there have been stories about Eli Apple that he is a cancer, and that is according to Landon Collins, the safety of the New York Giants. They say he was a cancer in the locker room. He started a lot of problems. It was said on Monday Night Football that he was fussing with the defensive coordinators on the sideline, and maybe that was the straw that broke the camel's back and had the New York Giants willing to trade him off. Look, I'm not buying to all that stuff because we all know about New York media. New York media likes to stir the pot. They like controversy. They love when teams are losing so they can write about them and find out what the problem is. And even if they're nowhere near finding a solution to the problem, they still are going to create a narrative. So I take what they say about Eli Apple with a grain of salt. Maybe Eli Apple was misunderstood. Maybe it was the fact that his team sucked for the last couple of years and he hasn't gotten an opportunity to really show the NFL what he's made of. I feel like this change of scenery will be beneficial to not only Eli Apple, but to the New Orleans Saints because they need somebody on the outside. I said it on the last episode of this podcast that the New Orleans Saints need to make tough plays and make clutch plays in crucial situations. That game that happened against the Baltimore Ravens, it could have easily been an L for the Saints. I mean, we know about the pass to Joe Flacco with a few seconds left in the back of the end zone to John Brown. Where was the secondary on that play? I mean, honestly, the New Orleans Saints, they need somebody that can be on the other side of Marshawn Lattimore and make clutch plays when they really, truly need them. Because the Saints, in my opinion, they have been lucky in a few of these games. That's why I feel like this year is a little bit of a year of destiny for the New Orleans Saints. Man, I should knock on wood when I say that. But it feels that way. It feels like this is a year where the New Orleans Saints, everything is clicking. It's almost like that year where they won the Super Bowl. Knock on wood again. When they played the Redskins and Drew Brees threw the interception and Robert Meacham ripped the ball out of hand and went the other way. That's kind of how it's been for the Saints. When you look at somebody like Justin Tucker, who never missed the extra point, and then let's not even get started on Zane Gonzalez of the Cleveland Browns. I guarantee you the Saints got Zane Gonzalez on their Christmas list. They need to get this man something nice, especially since they are the reason he's no longer in the league. But that's neither here nor there. Focusing on Eli Apple, I think that he can get the job done. Is he a shutdown corner? I don't think so, but I think he's better than Ken Crawley. I watched him in college when he played at Ohio State. He was a physical receiver. I think that he's a guy who has something to prove. And honestly, if Eli Apple can't succeed with the New Orleans Saints, I mean, this might be one of those players. If he can't succeed with the Saints, this might be one of those players that don't be in the league very long, because the New Orleans Saints are giving this man an opportunity. Teams are not going to trade with other teams and give away draft picks if they are not believing in what they're trading for. And I think that the Saints believe in Eli Apple, but Eli Apple has to get the job done. Look, like I said, forget about all this New York media stuff. Forget about all this he's not a good teammate stuff. The Saints have a good locker room. They have a good collection of players that will rally around Eli Apple and make him feel like he is a part of the team, because he is. And not to mention his Ohio State ties. You got Michael Thomas in there, Marshawn Lattimore, Von Bell, Kurt Coleman. Oh, man, you got all these guys up in here, man, that can rally around this young man and give him the confidence that he needs. I was looking at an interview with him. He was talking about him, being traded. And I'm real big on a person's eyes and stuff like that. Not that I'm just looking into people's eyes, but it just seems like to me this is a young man right here whose confidence is a little shot. And I don't feel like the New York Giants organization believed in him, especially because these weren't the people that drafted him, okay? This wasn't the general manager that drafted him. This was a whole new Giants regime. So I don't think that regime actually believed in Eli Apple. This is a team, the New Orleans Saints, that believe in him. And the question on everybody's mind is, will Eli Apple be the answer to the New Orleans Saints secondary woes? I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, it's kind of sketchy that you've been in the league about 3 years and you only have one interception, man. That's kind of questionable to me. But I think that he can be a much better player than Ken Crawley, and that is a plus. And the Saints definitely need it, because when you lose players like Patrick Robinson, the person that was ranked very highly as a slot corner, and the Saints been having injuries. I mean, we seen Marshawn Lattimore have a concussion against the Redskins. They really don't have that much depth in the secondary. So picking up Eli Apple could be the answer. Only time will tell. Well, this has been the State of the Saints podcast. Check me out on YouTube. Go to youtube.com, search the State of the Saints podcast. And also, go ahead and like and follow the State of the Saints podcast Facebook page. Till next time, who dat?